I don't know if I would bet it. Hello and welcome to the Do Not Disturb Football Podcast. I am your host, Drew Pelter. That is Nimmer. It is just us two again. Darian still on the daddy duty, of course. We have the Super Bowl LIX or 59 show today. This is, not the most anticipated Super Bowl. I think we've kind of gone over that for the past couple weeks. But we're still going to watch this Super Bowl. We still have a lot to say about how we think this game's going to go. And I guess before we start that off, Nimmer, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. It's been a pretty busy weekend. Just getting, visiting family, hanging out with my grandma and things like that. So, yeah, it's been good. A lot of family time, which I'm a very family-oriented person, so it's really, really nice.
How is Grandma Mona Cash?
So it's my grandma on my mom's side, so it's grandma, grandma Adrenly. Yeah, no, it's okay. But no, she's doing good. She's 93. But like I've been like telling all my aunts and even her like the cognitive skills that she has for a 93-year-old is insane. Like we were playing cards, like she's understanding like what's happening around the world, like just everything. She was telling me stories about how her and my grandpa met, and she was born and raised in Palestine, so she was telling me about like the war and what they did, and just all of that. So it was really, really cool. So I love enjoying hearing just like family roots and all that type of stuff. So it's been nice.
My dad in the chat saying "Go Chiefs 3-peat."
Yeah.
Real Bronco fan there. Could you turn my mic up a little bit, Nim? I'm getting
I'm
a little soft.
All right, how's that? I think that sounds about right.
Probably better.
Yeah, I turned you down because usually like I am super quiet and then you guys are loud. So then I try to kind of make it even. So I don't know if that's working or try to see.
Should be
it
right.
Worse.
I think it would just need a little bit. But anyways, Super Bowl 59. Let's talk about how this game's going to go. How do you think it plays out? Who do you think wins?
So, I was thinking about this, and I was thinking about the past two Super Bowls with the Chiefs, and especially last Super Bowl. And I was thinking about the Niners and how they had an all-star roster, just like the Eagles do. They had a great defense, just like the Eagles do. Great offense, just studs on all sides. Offensive line, receivers, running back, quarterback, all of that. And then somehow, some way, the Chiefs ended up winning. So I think it is. I mean, your dad is right. I think that it's gonna be the Chiefs three-peat, first time in history. But I do think it's gonna be a low-scoring game. I think that it's gonna just be a defensive battle. There's probably gonna be maybe 5 possessions per team. I think that the Eagles are gonna try running the ball, and then the Chiefs are gonna stop them. The Chiefs are well known for playing or trying to keep the ball and chew out the clock. The Eagles are play boring football, so I just think that's going to be a low scoring game, and it fits. It's not. It's going to be a boring Super Bowl, and nobody wanted to watch this matchup. So, who are the Broncos playing this weekend? So yeah, that's how I think the Super Bowl is going to go. I think the Chiefs are going to try to stop the run, but and then the Eagles are just gonna just keep pounding it. They're gonna try to take the ball away from Mahomes, and but at the end of the day, I think that the Chiefs come out on top.
My dad, I'll never forget when we lived in Kansas and we were like getting ready to go somewhere one day, and I'm waiting in the car for him, and he comes in to the car and he's got a Chiefs hat on, and I was like, Dad, what the hell are you wearing? And he's like, well, come on, we live here in Kansas, like it's fine. I'm like, no, that's not fine. You're a Bronco fan. What are you talking about?
That is hilarious.
But anyway, yeah, this game. I am leaning into it's going to be a bit of a higher scoring game. I don't think it's going to be as high as a score as it was 2 years ago. What does he say?
Give that man a raise. The genius of the show.
Anyways, I don't know if it's going to be exactly like it was the last time. The score the last time they played in 2023 was 38-35. I don't think it'll be that high scoring, but I do think it's going to be a higher scoring game. I have the score 28-24 for the Chiefs. I think, kind of like you said, these are two really good defenses going up against each other. The keys to the game, I think, are really, I said this last week, this is the best roster versus the best coach team in the NFL. So I think if you put that matchup against each other 9 times out of 10, the best coach team wins. And I really think that's probably just the way it's going to be for this game. The matchups I think I'm really interested to watch are Jalen Carter going up against that offensive line for the Chiefs. Really, their strength is on the interior with their guards, Tooney and Caliendo and Creed Humphrey. So it's not an easy job for Jalen Carter, but he's really starting to. I mean, he for the past 3 games, he's been everything they hoped he was out of the draft, and it's just in time for the Super Bowl run. So I like that matchup. I think that's going to be the most important matchup of the game. If Jalen Carter can get to Mahomes, then I think the Eagles have a chance. Really, I think the Eagles are going to have, if they're going to want to win, they're going to have a absolute masterclass of a defensive game plan against the Chiefs. And when you talk about stopping the Chiefs, you're talking about stopping the RPOs that they throw at you. You're talking about stopping the option routes that Kelsey runs. You're talking about stopping Marquise Brown flying down the sideline. DeAndre Hopkins, who really hasn't had a huge effect, but he's still DeAndre Hopkins. Two formidable running backs with Isaiah Pacheco and Kareem Hunt. So you're really going to have an excellent defensive game plan, and that's probably easier said than done. But if they do have that kind of a game plan, they may have a chance to steal this game, which I think would be interesting to see. But I'm taking the Chiefs in this game. I've been saying it all year, and I'm not turning back on the Chiefs now. I hate it. I hate watching them win. So I definitely don't enjoy it, but
Yeah,
that's
and I
just
think
what it is.
this Spags is just gonna be a better like. I think the Eagles' defense is better than the Eagle. I mean, the Eagles' defense is better than Chiefs. Eagles' offense is better than Chiefs, but I think that Spags and Reed are just two great coaches, and they just know how to completely I mean, they've done it all season somehow, some way. They just win. So
I feel like it's going to be. We've seen these Mahomes games like where they're in the playoffs, and there's a little bit of back and forth. Mahomes out of nowhere has like a really long run that kind of tilts the game over, and then they seal it at the end, maybe with a kick, maybe with a last minute touchdown, however it is. So I feel like that's kind of what we're going to see here.
yeah, I agree.
And like you said, Spags, he comes up with really creative schemes, really creative defensive game plans. So he's going to give you some really different looking looks for Jalen Hurts to kind of figure out. And I also think Reed on the other side, he's going to give you a play that you haven't seen yet this year, which is going to, and maybe it was a play that worked 4 years ago for him, and he's pulling it back out because it worked back then.
Yeah,
he's an absolute genius in that respect.
Or honestly, he'll look back at like Belichick and Super Bowl like 4 or 5, 7 years ago, and then he'll be like, "I like that play," and take it out, and then like do some modifications and stuff like that. Like it's not just like the past year, 2 or 3, or his career, or whatever. It's like all coaches that he looks at, and he's like, "I like that play. I like that play." Like he's just on it. Yeah, he's insane.
So what about what does this mean for Philly if they were to win?
What does this mean? I mean, I think that this is like completely. I think if they win this Super Bowl, I don't think that they are gonna go back anytime soon. I think that this is gonna be the thing that like Hurts has been pushing and motivation. I need to go to the Super Bowl. I need to go to the Super Bowl. I need to go to the Super Bowl. And once he wins it, I don't think that he's going to find that exterior motivation that, okay, let me do another one. Let me do another one. I think it's like, I got to the top of the hill. I'm never coming. I mean, I'm satisfied, essentially. I can see that with Hurts. And then, I mean, with Saquon, it's just the whole Saquon story is just unbelievable. But I mean, honestly, with big fan bases like Philadelphia, the Steelers, Buffalo, I think that whenever you bring a championship to those cities, your name is cemented in their history books. So, I mean, it'd be huge for Philly, especially to knock down the 3 like Kansas City Chiefs. So.
Yeah, I think it means a lot for everybody in that organization. Saquon, I mean, this has got to mean that's like the one guy I think in this Super Bowl that I'm rooting for.
Yeah.
I want him to win his first championship. But on the defensive side, Vic Fangio, I think he's 0-8 versus Mahomes.
Yeah, I heard that.
All time. So that's got to mean a hell of a lot for him. I'm sure their defense is aware of that as well. But it's got to mean everything for Philly, and it really is a lose situation no matter which fan base gets the championship here. But
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't
Philly,
know.
I would hate to say it. I think Philly might be a little bit more insufferable than Kansas City.
Yeah, 100%. Because it's not even the fact that they won; it's the fact that they knocked down the defending champs. You know what I mean?
Oh
Like
yeah,
I can just see Philly fans just been like, "Oh, you have more Super Bowls, but how many did you guys beat the dynasty?" Or you know what I mean? It's just like,
yeah. They'll put Jalen Hurts in the Hall of Fame tomorrow
oh my
or
god, yeah,
on Monday.
top 5 quarterback in the league, and just
Yeah.
bullshit like that.
What about the bets though? Do you have any of your favorite bets for this weekend? There's a
Yes,
lot of bets. A lot of bets are surrounded
they're insane.
by in the Super Bowl. You have prop bets, you have in-game bets, parlays. What are the ones you're looking at?
Yeah, so there was a prop that said like what the shortest rushing yard or something like that, and I was trying to find it, but I couldn't find it. But I would definitely do the under because I think the over unders was or the longest scoring play, maybe that's what it was. But if it, I think it was like 1.5 over under in yards, and I would do it under because the tush push would be less than a yard, right? So then that's I feel like that's a guaranteed bet. The three props specials, the three specials, and this is on FanDuel, that I really like are any offensive lineman to score a touchdown, though that's plus 1,800. Any non-quarterback to record a passing touchdown. So any non-quarterback to record a passing touchdown, and then any quarterback to score a receiving touchdown. Those are the three props I really really like, and the odds are amazing. I mean, the offensive line one is 1,800. A non-quarterback for a passing touchdown was 2,000, which hit last year. And then any quarterback to score a receiving touchdown is 7,000. So those are the three I like. And then I do like the under in total points. So those are kind of the five I like.
Mm-hmm. Before I get into bets, there's one thing I really hope we see, and I feel like it might happen. I think there might be a situation, very short yardage situation, 4th and 1, 3rd and 1. The Chiefs, they've had practice against this QB sneak with what they did against the Bills. The Eagles are much better at the QB sneak than the Bills are. But I think what the Eagles should do, because they're going to run that play a lot, they're going to run that play at least 3 or 4 times in the game.
Mm-hmm.
I, I think if they're in an important situation, say 4th and 1, I think you snap the ball between Jalen Hurts' legs, give it to Saquon, and do like a sweep.
Yep. 100%.
I think they might try that out. I think that'll be a fun play to watch.
Mm-hmm. They have to.
Hopefully it works.
They have to. I mean,
Yeah.
even though like some nobody's been really able to stop that, but like, and I feel like the Bills tush push was a lot easier to read than
Yeah.
the Eagles tush push, but like, and obviously not the first time, but like maybe like the third or fourth time that they do the tush push and they essentially see it coming, I can definitely see that.
Mm-hmm. But for bets, one special that I saw on FanDuel that, am I betting this? Probably not, but I think it's an interesting bet. Uh, Jalen Hurts and Patrick Mahomes to combine for 100 plus rushing yards and 2 plus rushing TDs. So they would have to both combine to equal 100 rushing yards, and both have to score a touchdown, or one of them can score 2 rushing touchdowns. So I think that's an interesting bet. I kind of feel like Mahomes is probably going to get one in on the ground, and we kind of see Jalen Hurts score within the 1 yard line a lot. So I think it's an interesting bet. Super Bowl MVP, I think you scratch it and just put Mahomes in. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if, like my dad's talking about, doesn't matter if Xavier Worthy goes out there and has 500 yards. They're going to give the Super Bowl MVP to Mahomes. That's just the way it is. Score, I think I actually will bet on. I am going to bet on 28-24 Chiefs. That is a plus 23,000 bet. $1 gets you $230. $5 to get you $1,150. So I like that one. And that would give me the over. The line is 48 and a half. 28-24 would be 52 points, so just over the line there. And anytime TD, I really like Kareem Hunt. I think the Chiefs have been giving Hunt the a lot of carries in the short yardage situations. So I like Kareem Hunt as the anytime touchdown, and that's a plus 145 bet. So it might be a sneaky little one to put in your parlay.
Yeah. Yeah. You think the Eagles are gonna run the ball still a lot, or do you think that Jalen Hurts is gonna throw? Like, I was thinking about like putting AJ Brown as an anytime touchdown because I think that they are gonna try to like air it out because Spags is gonna load the box and try to stop Saquon.
Yeah, the last time they played, I think it was Devonta Smith that had a pretty good game for the Eagles. So maybe you lead Devonta Smith. I like their roster a lot, so I feel like you're going to have to set the tone with running the ball, even though you know that the Chiefs can stop the run.
Mm-hmm.
I think it has to constantly be a factor. Like, is Saquon going to break one off?
Mm-hmm.
That has to be in the Chiefs' mind, I think, the whole time. I do think that they're going to load the box, the Chiefs are, or they're going to give you looks where it looks like the box isn't loaded, but they're blitzing. So I think they're going to really try to stop Saquon, and I think Jalen Hurts is going to surprise some people in this game, and I think he's going to have a pretty good game to keep them in this game.
Yeah, I mean, last time they played, Jalen Hurts completely outperformed Patrick Mahomes, 100%.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, and Patrick Mahomes won the Super Bowl MVP, and I was like, how? Like, how are you going to win Super Bowl MVP when the opposing quarterback blew him out of the water?
Yeah, he had 3 rushing touchdowns and a passing touchdown. I don't know when the last time that's been done.
Seriously. It's wild.
And not the Niners last year, but the first time the Niners and the Chiefs played, I remember the running back Williams. I can't remember his first name, but he had like a monster game. He was, I thought, 100% going to be the Super Bowl MVP that game. I think he had a rushing touchdown and a receiving touchdown, 100 yards rushing. Like he had a really, really good game.
Wow.
And they gave it to Mahomes, and Mahomes had a fumble that game. He threw an interception. It was like not deserved at all.
Such bullshit.
Yeah. But that is our little analyzation for the Super Bowl. We are going to be tuning into it. Love everything that comes with it. We'll be making the snacks and all the, we'll be eating all day, having, wings and.
Are you having a Super Bowl party? Or just you and Sammy?
Yeah, me, Sammy, and the dogs. That's the party.
There you go. Honestly, I was thinking about it because we're having. So it's actually my grandpa's 10-year memorial, and so it's like on the same day, and so we're having like a bunch of people over, and I'm like, I don't know if I like that. I don't know how I feel about like this Super Bowl party, because then you're like, I don't know. What do you
I don't
think?
mind it as long as it's not my team in the Super Bowl.
Fair enough.
If my team's playing, I don't want anyone at my house.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Because if they lose, like you're gonna see me act like a maniac.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, if the Steelers, I would not be here right now. I'd be like, I'm sitting in my room and not doing anything.
I remember I only invited 2 people over for when the Broncos played Seattle in the Super Bowl, and I had a feeling that game was not going to go very well. And it was a blowout like immediately, and I was like throwing shit in my house. And
oh shit!
they were like, oh wow.
Well,
so funny. I can only imagine like if I had 15 people over.
Yeah.
It'd be like Drew's an absolute psycho.
Like if you've seen those videos where like punch the TV or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's something you would do.
But let's get into some of the news that has happened since we've been gone. We didn't have a show yesterday because there's really been nothing to talk about. If you look at the interviews for the Super Bowl, you had one of the reporters ask Jalen Hurts how he can get more handsome. That's where we're at.
Yeah.
That's where we're at here in the NFL news. So that's why we didn't have the show yesterday.
Yeah.
Did you see that? Did you see that question?
Yeah. I saw all like the highlights and stuff like that, and I'm just like, what? I saw like Saquon tell Jameis Winston that he should go to the Giants. I thought that was kind of funny. And what was the other one?
He was really the highlight, Winston.
100%. Oh, and then we
Yeah.
did, well. I thought Travis Kelsey like asking the media why are they going with the story with the refs and stuff like that. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, I mean,
But that's it.
you've got thousands of people going with that. So
Yeah, but it's different when like ESPN is covering it rather than like
Yeah.
Twitter, or, Instagram,
Yeah.
and podcasts and stuff like that. Like
Well, I mean,
Not
Gene
official
Serator is the
news.
one who kind of started it. He's the rule guy, so like,
Yeah.
why don't you ask him?
that's true. But I thought that was the most interesting, and I was like,
I kind of thought all the questions were terrible this year.
oh, 100%.
I feel like usually you have, like remember when they asked Tom Brady like who your hero is, and he got into this like, oh, it's my dad. Like, started getting teary eyed and stuff. What do you say?
What time should I be there, Drew, to your Super Bowl party?
Oh yeah. I
Um,
mean, it's gonna be a boring watch party, Dad. If you want to come,
Yeah.
I'm not cheering at all. I'm just watching.
um, yeah, even last year, remember they were like, I don't know if they did this year. I didn't really pay attention, but did they do like that whole arena thing where it was like a WWE event essentially? I don't think they did that this year.
Oh, like Radio Row,
No, like
where they
remember
do.
last year where they like it was like a big arena and they like brought in one team and another team and then they like sat on a stage and interviewed them a little bit.
Oh yeah, I think they might still have. I don't really know, but I think
Oh,
they still might have that in store.
because I don't remember them ever doing that. At least I wasn't like I
That
never
might be
seen
like
it.
the finale of the press.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay.
But I don't really know.
Yeah.
But anyways, probably the biggest news that came this week: Miles Garrett out of the Cleveland Browns. He has requested a trade. He had a statement saying, "While I've loved calling this city my home, my desire to win and compete on the biggest stages won't allow me to be complacent. The goal was never to go from Cleveland to Canton. It has always been to compete for and win a Super Bowl." So obviously, the driving factor behind this trade request is probably the fact that Cleveland is stuck in rebuild mode. They have been in so many rebuilds, and you have Deshaun Watson, who, has underperformed, tears his Achilles twice, probably looking at a future that's not very clear and not very joyful. A lot of players have left Cleveland and had success in other places. So, what was your reaction to this? Where do you think Miles Garrett will end up?
I mean, I think my reaction is just like everybody else's, where it's like it makes sense. When you're an outstanding player like Miles Garrett, nobody's gonna know you until you win. Like nobody, for us, we will know because there's our. But in like 10 years, 15 years, I don't know if that many people will remember. Um, so, like, what's that dude that like went into Brett Favre's face? Um,
Oh yeah, I don't remember his name.
exactly my point
Yeah,
because nobody
yeah,
remembers him, but in his time he was a monster. But 10, 15 years nobody's going to remember him until he starts winning. Like what's his name? Davis, the Broncos old pass rusher. He's on the Bills now.
Oh, Von Miller.
Von Miller. Where did I say Davis from? Von Miller. I think like
I
people
thought you were
remember
saying
him.
Terrell Davis. And I was like,
Oh no, yeah, I don't know what I was thinking. People remember him because he actually won, and I feel like that will really, at the end of the day, you can have all the money in the world, but at the end of the day, you can have all the money in the world, but whenever somebody introduces you into a interview and all that type of stuff, you'd want to hear Super Bowl winner or that sort of thing, that high accolades. So, I think he's going to the Commanders. I think they have the highest cap space going into the offseason. And I mean, they went to the NFC Championship. They have a young roster, defensive minded head coach. It fits perfectly.
yeah, yeah. I like the Commanders too. I would think they are probably the favorite right now to land him
Mm-hmm.
because of what you said. The amount of cap space that they have, they still have picks that they could trade to as well. I feel like this offer for Miles Garrett isn't going to be as crazy as some people think,
Mm-hmm.
just because there were rumors before the trade deadline this past NFL season that he was going to get traded. So it's possible he was already being shopped around. And now that he's requested a trade, I think that value in the trade offer goes down. Um, so
Yeah.
I like the Commanders. Another team I would look out for is the Titans, and I think maybe the Titans because they have kind of, and I don't really believe in it, but I know their GM or owner, one of the two, came out and said we're not going to pass up on a generational talent, and kind of alluded to whether that's a pick or like a trade.
Mm.
We're gonna go with the best option. So I think there's a chance maybe, if they're not completely sold on Cam Ward or Shador, which I think they are sold on Cam Ward. They're just not
Mm-hmm.
saying it to be strategic. Um, Maybe they trade back and take Miles Garrett and then get a quarter. Maybe they just roll with Will Levis again. I know there's some people out there that still think he can be the answer, and I'm like, I don't see that at all. But but yeah, I like the Commanders. I think that's a really good. Everyone's gonna want to go and play in Washington after this year.
Yeah.
So like, if they give a decent offer and Miles Garrett approves of the trade, it's likely to happen. And like I said a couple weeks ago, I think they're going to sell out to win the Super Bowl this upcoming year. That could be the first step,
Mm-hmm.
getting a pass rusher. They really need a pass rusher. So
Exactly. Yeah, that would be crazy. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, the Titans, that makes sense. Like, if they trade their first round pick and get Miles Garrett, but then Miles Garrett's not going to want to go to Tennessee. You know what I mean?
yeah,
They go
true.
from one shit show to another. Like, there's no way. So, that's my
Yeah.
only hesitation with Tennessee. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so, I don't know. Maybe even the Chargers, if they don't, because didn't they get rid of
Mm-hmm.
Khalil Mack? Or they're like,
He's a
something's
free
going,
agent.
he's a free agent.
Yeah,
So I mean, maybe they'll try to replace Khalil Mack with
that'd be a good spot for him too.
So, but like I don't know if you're, I just feel hesitation whenever you see a your star player going to the same conference. Like I don't know. He's been, especially the Browns. They think that they're somehow gonna win, so they're like, "Oh, what if we see them in the playoffs? I don't want to see Miles Garrett." It's like, all right, well, I don't think you're gonna go to the playoffs anytime soon. So
Yeah, it's kind of hard to think like what Super Bowl contender would be willing to trade for him
yeah.
outside like the Commanders,
Mm-hmm.
maybe the Bills.
Mm.
I don't really see it, but maybe.
Yeah. I can't see that either. They need to get a better wide receiver, like a go-to wide receiver. I mean, they have
Hmm.
Amari Cooper, but he hasn't really been showing out like people thought he was going to. Um,
Apparently, he's been playing with like a. I don't know if it's fractured, but a pretty bad wrist injury.
Oh wow. Dang.
He was just playing through it. They told him to have surgery on it, like when he was traded to the Bills.
Oh my
A doctor
god.
told him that a doctor told him to have surgery on it, and he said, "I'm going to play through it."
Wow. That's crazy.
So
Dang.
that could be why he hasn't been playing as well.
Hmm. Maybe. I mean, I don't know. I just think it's the tail end of his career. I don't think that, like, it's like,
His numbers were starting to kind of decline last year.
mhm.
I still think he's got some juice left though.
He does, but I just I don't think that he's a wide receiver one. Like,
Hmm.
he would be a really good wide receiver two. But, like, if he's your go-to, I don't know. I wouldn't want that to be my go-to. But the
Yeah.
Steelers don't even have a go-to, so I mean, I don't know, the fuck, what I'm saying, but might get Cooper Cup.
That's our next story. So,
Yeah.
Rams informed Cooper Cup they are going to seek a trade for him. What they bring in return is not really like a clear answer yet, but they have informed Cup that they are looking to trade him. So, what is your reaction to this?
If the Steelers don't fucking trade Cooper Cup, I'ma flip out. Like, Cooper Cup is the definition of a great wide receiver. Like, no ego. He can teach George Pickens how to settle down, essentially. And if George Pickens is a deep threat, he would be a perfect, like, up and under type of wide receiver. So why are we not? The Steelers need to make a move, even if we kind of overpay a little bit. Like, instead of a third and a seventh, we give them a second and a sixth or something like that. I'm fine with it. But, like, we need him. I don't know how many good wide receivers there are in free agent. We're not getting T Higgins, obviously. So I don't know who else essentially we can get, but we need to get Cooper Cup.
Yeah, I think he's going to be a hot commodity. I think there's a lot of teams out there that would be hoping to trade for a receiver like him, someone that can line up in the slot and do a bunch of different things.
Yeah, I know, unfortunately, but that's what I'm saying. Like, we need to kind of overpay. I mean, I'm not saying like trade TJ or do like a Mavs type of trade, but I'm just saying we need to, like, make it worthwhile. Like, even if it's picks, I'm fine with picks, as long as it's not like a
Rams,
first or second pick. Like,
Rams need picks, so
exactly.
I'm sure that's what they're looking for.
Mm-hmm. Which I'm fine with. If we can get Cooper Cup and get rid of Russ, I have to throw that in, because if we keep Russ, it's gonna be a long season again.
What if the asking price is like 3 picks in Calvin Austin, the third?
3 is a lot. It depends on what if it's like a fourth, sixth, and seventh in Calvin Austin. Oh yeah, definitely. But if it's like a second, fourth and fifth, that's kind of steep. But I wouldn't be too mad about it. I don't know. It would have a seventh. If they want 3 picks, a 7 would have to be there, and it would have to be in multiple years. It couldn't just be either this draft. But,
his contract, I don't know what his contract details are, but I think he was on a big contract.
Really? I mean,
it's not like I don't think it's huge, but I think it's definitely gonna hit the cap for whoever gets him.
Yeah, damn. But I mean, that's one of the only positions that and the quarterback are the only positions we really need to fill this offseason. And a little bit off the offensive line, we were kind of hurt this year, but I think those are the 2 main positions Steelers need to fill up.
Yeah.
But I can also see him go to the Chargers.
Yeah, Chargers would be a good fit. I think that would be a good fit.
I feel like that would be a
I
better
wouldn't.
fit, but I'm being selfish.
I do kind of wonder if the Broncos come in and offer for
Hmm,
him because I feel like Sean Payton probably likes the way he plays.
that's true. But you guys have such a young wide receiver. Like both of your young receivers did really well this season.
Yeah, Vele
So
and Mims.
yeah. So like I don't know if you guys would even try that. I don't know.
Buccaneers too. I think with Chris
Mm,
Godwin as a free agent, I think they could sneak in and try to get him.
you don't think they're gonna try to re-sign Chris Godwin?
I think they will.
Yeah.
I think they will. And Godwin will probably take a lesser contract too, just to stay with them.
Really?
I think so. I mean, he's been there for
Yeah,
ever,
that's
and
true.
City loves him, and he's gotten hurt a couple times now.
Yeah, true. Plus, like the beginning of the season, he did really well.
Yeah, he
So
was doing real. I mean, everyone thought he was going to be the fantasy wide receiver one by the end of the
yeah,
season.
yeah, it's insane. But
I feel terrible for Cup though. I really do.
yeah,
It's pretty sad that you go from being, a triple crown winner, someone that hadn't done that in 20 plus years or something like that, having records all over the Rams books, and now it's, just a couple years later you're on the way out and
yeah,
probably going to get traded out,
mm-hmm.
forced out.
Yeah. And it was crazy. I think in the interview he told the media or something. He was like, I really thought that I was gonna retire in LA. Like I didn't think that
Hmm.
I was gonna move anywhere. That's why like the Chargers kind of makes the most sense. Like I wouldn't if I had to put money on it, it probably would be the Chargers. Um, just because like
I can see
I
that.
mean, you're still living in LA and it's not. But plus like the trade is opposite conference. You're not really gonna see them that much. All of that. But
Hmm.
um, selfishly, I want him as a Steeler.
Him and Lad that would be a cool show to watch for sure.
Exactly. Exactly. Does he? Do you know if he has any say in the trade or no? Like Miles, I'm sure Miles Garrett has some type of say. He has like he can waive his no trade clause or something like that,
Yeah, I
right?
don't
I don't know if he has that
I don't know if he has a trade clause in
mm,
his contract or not.
thing.
I'm assuming if they're telling him we're going to trade you, probably not. It
Yeah.
could be the New England Patriots and they will trade him.
Mm-hmm. Damn, that's crazy.
But
Wow.
I feel terrible for him.
Yeah. He's such a good guy too. He's not like, some arrogant asshole that
Mm.
thinks that he's God's gift, but he's actually like a humble guy.
Yeah, you do start seeing the injuries that he has though, and it makes sense. Like
Yeah.
they're paying him a decent amount, and he can't. Like it's almost impossible for him to finish. I mean, it pretty much is impossible
Hmm.
for him to finish the season, to last an entire season.
Yeah. Plus, at the end of the season, like he had what in 4 games he has had like 3 or 4 catches. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like it wasn't even like he
yeah.
kept
Once
on getting 10
once
receptions and stuff. But
once Puka was back, he was pretty much
yeah,
out the door already.
exactly. So hmm.
Chip Kelly, he has returned to the NFL. He is now the Raiders offensive coordinator. I know there's a lot of people out there that kind of hate on Chip Kelly, and I think it's probably because of who he was as a head coach. But as an offensive coordinator, he just had the title, uh, national title in college for Ohio State. He just helped win that for them. He had pretty good numbers as an offensive coordinator in the NFL. If we remember right, that was a year where Nick Foles was popping off, looking like really really good. Uh, so I think it's kind of proven that Kelly can call offensive plays and make people look really good in that system. What do you think about this hire?
I love the tire. I think that this is a great 1-2 punch with Pete Carroll being more of a defensive type of mindset, and then Chip Kelly being the offensive mindset. I think this is a great 1-2 punch. I think that this is like, I don't want to compare it to Reed and Spags, but it's that sort of thing where they're both really good at their job. And they're really good at defense, and they're really good at running offenses and stuff like that. Only concern is the personnel that they have. Their personnel is going to be what is really going to be holding them back. And especially with a quarterback, depending on who they draft or they sign in free agency, that's going to really dictate how that team does.
Yeah, they have a lot of things to address from the, from the roster standpoint. The offensive line has been bad for a long time now.
Mm-hmm.
Quarterback you need to fix, but and some things on the defense. The defensive backs aren't the greatest. The linebackers are okay. Defensive line is good when they're all healthy. So you have some things to fix on a lot of different parts of the team. I really like this hire, though. I like what the Raiders are doing. I know some people out there are kind of not too hot on the Pete Carroll hiring, but honestly, if I'm a Raider fan, like, I'd be pretty happy with that. I know, I loved Antonio Pierce. I still think Antonio Pierce is going to be a good coach someday, but you needed someone stable and a coach that has been in big games. That is Pete Carroll. And Chip Kelly, Ohio State, they just averaged 35.7 points a game this season. That's college, so those numbers are a little skewed, but he's had good numbers in the NFL from an offensive standpoint. And I think it's a really solid staff. I think they're in a interesting situation too, because the first pick of the draft, I don't think you're going to pick quarterback there. You're probably too far away from those top 3 picks to get one of those top 2 guys. But I wonder in the second, third round if you land Quinn Ewers. I think that might be someone they really are looking at, because he has good arm talent, but can throw some, can make mistakes sometimes. So that is one quarterback that I think they're probably looking at. If Pete Carroll and Chip Kelly like him, I could see them going, and maybe even Will Howard.
Sorry. What's up, Bill? I'm doing the podcast. You want to come say hi? Come say hi. Sorry. He just kept was like standing in the doorway. Come say hi. Look.
Hey, Bill.
He says hi.
Hi.
Who's Bill got in the Super Bowl?
Who do you want in the Super Bowl? Eagles or Chiefs?
The Eagles.
He wants the Eagles.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
We'll see.
I'll talk to you after, okay, Bill?
Okay.
All right. Okay, sorry about that.
No, you're all good. It's always good seeing him. Josh Jacobs, did you see this story today?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting story. He was doing some interview, because I think Radio Row is actually going on right now. That's where they have like all the media there interviewing players. You have a bunch of players come.
Mm-hmm.
And he did an interview today, and he said that he thinks the Packers need to get an established wide receiver 1. And then Dontavian Wicks tweeted that video with laughing faces and a thumbs down.
I mean, Dontavian Wicks is definitely not the wide receiver 1. So I don't know what the fuck. I don't know what he has a thumb down for. There's no way. I mean, he has a point. We originally thought it was Reed, but it ended up not being Reed. But I don't know. I don't know if I agree, actually. Because then, like, if you don't have a wide receiver 1 and you have a bunch of wide receiver 2s, because all 3 of those wide receivers are pretty good. Reed definitely exceeds the other ones, like exceeds the wide receiver room, but you still have Dobbs and Wicks and Kraft as a tight end. Like, who are you guarding? Who are you doubling? Who are you putting your best corner on? And if all right, you're gonna put your best corner on Reed, then you can hit Dobbs and Wicks. So it's kind of like a guessing game for the defense, and I feel like that would be kind of hard to defend. So I don't know, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean Reed does better in the slot.
Mm-hmm.
I think you do need someone established out wide at the X. The you know, I still think Devontae Adams. That's where he's going to end up.
Wow.
But I think that's probably the kind of person they're looking for. Someone that has proven to put up numbers from that X spot. So I agree with Josh Jacobs. I think it's probably not the smartest thing to say because you're going to piss off a lot of people in the room when you say that.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think they need something. They need their offense is good, but you need to have a wide receiver one. And if you have a wide receiver one, now that's where the pressure really starts for Jordan Love. Can you succeed? Because I think there was a little bit of early praise for Jordan Love. And this past year, like he kind of reeled it back in at the end, but when the year started, he looked not good.
Mm-hmm.
There was a point where I was like, "Oh my gosh, like is he going to be a starter here soon?"
Yeah.
And I drafted him, so I was watching him. I was watching him very carefully. But yeah, I do think they need someone like a Devonte Adams or like probably not a Cooper Cup, but someone
Yeah, I know.
like one of those possession type receivers or red zone targets.
Yeah. Maybe they'll look in the draft, but
Maybe T Higgins.
interesting.
Maybe him. That'd be I would like that for them
Yeah. I mean,
because he could play out wide.
yeah, out of all the teams that people have been assigning T Higgins, I think that would be essentially the best one. Them or the Chargers.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I don't know. Like I get where he's coming from because having a wide receiver one definitely establishes the offense a little bit more. Um, but and I feel like that would give Jordan Love a lot more confidence in that. But yeah, I don't know. But it's funny that Wicks tweeted him.
Yeah, I thought that was
Like,
funny too. I was like, all right, bro.
yeah. It's like you're definitely not the wide receiver one.
You haven't done anything to.
Yeah. You're fourth on the roster. On the wide receiver roster.
But yeah. Next story we have explain in NFL terms. So there was a monumentous type trade that went down in the NBA this past weekend. Probably a trade that's never been seen before. You had Luka Doncic traded to the LA Lakers, which was, I mean, that just sounds crazy. Like even saying that sounds nuts. And Anthony Davis traded to the Dallas Mavericks. There were some other people involved in this trade. Me and Nimmer don't really watch the NBA, but we know those guys.
Yeah.
So
and a 2029 first round pick.
wow,
That's what was with the package for Anthony Davis.
wow.
So it
That's
wasn't even
crazy.
it wasn't even like, oh, this year, next year, like, yeah, it's crazy.
I mean, a first round pick is nice, but yeah, that's so far away.
2029, yeah. That means they're in 8th grade right now.
Mm-hmm.
So you saw an 8th grader that you really wanted, and you're like, oh, this is who we're gonna pick first round. It's insane.
But Luka, he is some people say he's a generational scorer. He is like in the MVP talk every single year. In his prime, 25 years old. Went to the NBA Finals last year. Uh, really, really, really good. Like one of those. Like if you think about the MLB, he is like Aaron Judge or
Mm-hmm.
uh, one of those big time batters,
Yeah. I mean.
Juan Soto.
Mm-hmm.
For the NFL, Luca probably is like a Justin Jefferson or like a Jamar Chase or like one of those really big time guys that is like a huge factor. Anthony Davis, he is an older player. He's 32, I think,
Yeah. 31, 32.
and he has won a championship with the Lakers just a couple of years ago, but has had a very obvious injury problem. Can't really stay healthy for long stretches. Um, and he's a defensive minded basketball player that can score, shoots well from the free throw line, but he's older and he's not nearly in the same class as Luka is in at his position.
Mm-hmm.
So let's try to explain this in NFL terms. What would this be like in the NFL if you picked a trade that would kind of replicate this?
So I don't know if you saw it, but the reason Mavs came out with a statement saying the reason they wanted to get rid of Luka is because they didn't like his conditioning as well. So that was
Yeah, he reached 270 pounds. They said.
Yeah, exactly. So they're like, all right, we need to trade this.
That's
guy
a lot.
because- I mean, yeah, but he's been like, look at him. He's 270 pounds and dropping 50 and 60. Like,
Yeah.
it's It's not even that. Bringing your teams to the finals just last year,
Mm-hmm.
and then you're gonna trade him. So my thinking is this is like Jared Goff.
The Ravens trading Jared Goff to the the Ravens trading Lamar Jackson to the Lions for Jared Goff. So Jared Goff would be AD because he's a little bit older, and Lamar Jackson is in his prime right now, and the best, like Lamar Jackson is pretty much the reason that the Ravens have went to the AFC Championship last year, went to the playoffs this year. Probably top five best quarterbacks in the league right now by far. Jared Goff, I mean, he's had a good season, but yeah, that was when I was explaining it to my mom in football terms. That's what I thought. So that's my kind of sports analogy. And I mean, Anthony Davis isn't even the best person on the team, so.
Right. For me, it's kind of hard because I'm trying to think of like a player that's won a championship, has like an injury history. When I say that out loud, my mind goes to, and he hasn't won a championship, but Christian McCaffrey.
Mm.
And like staple that we know performs really well would be like maybe Jahmyr Gibbs.
Mm.
I guess he's more up and coming though.
Yeah.
And Christian McCaffrey, I mean, just last year he was the best running back in the league, so I wouldn't compare
Right.
him with Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
It would be more like, I don't even know what running backs.
And they're two different positions too in basketball,
Yeah.
so that's where I'm trying to think of like two different positions in football that I could kind of equate to this. And I'm trying to think of like an injury riddled linebacker that has won a championship, and that none come to mind.
Honestly, it's kind of like
Cooper. It's like trading Cooper Cup for Justin Jefferson
Yeah, or like a Tyreek Hill or something like
or
that.
Tyreek Hill. Yeah,
Yeah,
that would probably be
Some-
better. I think AD and Cooper Cup are pretty similar, in ranking towards the NFL and NBA.
I agree. Yeah.
So that
Yeah. Interesting trade though,
yeah,
for sure.
it just doesn't make any sense. Like,
I
why are the Mavs
I thought
doing
about
this?
I thought about getting back into the NBA just because of this,
Mm.
and I looked, and tonight their primetime game starts in 30 minutes, 10 o'clock. I won't. I won't be getting back into the NBA because of that.
Yeah, the NBA is more of like a West Coast
Type of,
Yeah.
a West Coast type of.
sport because right now it's 6:30. So
I'll be asleep
yeah.
by like 2 minutes to go in the first quarter. I'll be asleep.
True. Honestly, this is the best kind of time in basketball because of the trade deadline. So there's so many cool like different trades that are going on right now.
Mhm. Jimmy
Um,
Butler's about to get traded.
He did get traded.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he got traded while we were on the podcast.
Oh, really?
He got traded to the
Was it-
Warriors.
Oh, he did.
Wow.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
I don't think that's going to be a good fit.
I don't think
But-
so either.
I don't watch it
Yeah,
anyways.
no,
So what do I know?
no. I'm really gonna try to start watching hockey though. I really want to get back into hockey.
Yeah. Yeah, I need to go to a Penguins game for sure.
Oh my god. Oh, well, they kind of suck, so it's not gonna be as good. But
Still get to see Sid the Kid though.
yeah, true.
Yeah, they're not very good though.
No. If you see them like play like the Stars or the Bruins, I think the Bruins would be a fun game to go to. Like the Penguins and the Bruins.
Mm-hmm. Sammy went to a game. I don't remember who they were playing, but
I've only been to one hockey game, and that was in Arizona. Like, I wasn't even out here, so I need to. I think it'd be fun.
their hockey team was so bad.
Oh my god. Yeah,
The
well,
Coyotes.
So bad.
did you hear what happened to them now? They
They got sold, didn't they?
Yeah, so they're in Utah right now.
Mhm.
And they haven't found a mascot. So it's like the Washington football team kind of thing, where it's the the Utah hockey team or something like that. And so then they went to go and what is it called? Where you like put in a name, like trademark, I think maybe trademark the name Yeti. So it's gonna be the Utah Yetis or something. Utah Yetis, which I thought that's the name I wanted.
For
It sounds good.
Yeah, but it was already trademarked, so now they have to, or it got denied or something like that.
Oh no.
So now it's like back to the drawing board. So,
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But I mean, I live in the Bay Area right now, so we have the San Jose Sharks who are just as bad. So I'm not going to see any type of good hockey anytime soon. So
Man, I just watched this crazy show on Netflix. It's called American Primeval.
wow.
And might not be everyone's cup of tea. It's kind of like Yellowstone, but it's like more graphic. Like probably way more graphic than Yellowstone.
Wow.
Like someone gets like their scalp skinned at one point in the show. And it is a crazy story that I did not know about, and I don't know how true it is. Like, I don't know how true to history it is, but apparently Brigham Young was a part of a Mormon militia back in the day, and they used to like commit crimes and blame it on Native Americans. So they would like take over villages and kill people and then blame it on Native Americans.
Wow.
So that's kind of what the show's about. I don't know how true it is. I'm assuming there's a good amount of truth in it. It was a really interesting
Jeez.
show.
What is this show called?
American Primeval.
American Prime Evil. I'm laughing
It's pretty-
because
One of my best friends out here is Mormon. So, and she just had surgery, so I'm about to be like, hey, you should watch this show. This is a really good show.
I had no idea that Mormons had like a violent past. I'm sure every culture has a violent
yeah, I was
past,
going to say.
but yeah,
Yeah, I didn't think they did either. I thought they were very a peaceful group, but I guess not.
yeah, it was interesting. Interesting show for sure. But Super Bowl 59, we'll have another show next week following the Super Bowl to kind of react, see if anything we said came true, see if we were way off, see if the Eagles come away with the upset, or if Kansas City rolls through them, or whatever it is. We have plenty to talk about next week. We'll maybe dive into a little bit of some off-season stuff, what we're kind of looking at for the future of this show, this program, what we're doing. But we will be back next week. Probably just one show again next week, probably Tuesday, I would think, maybe Wednesday. But, well, I guess we'll plan that out as we get closer to it. Enjoy the last football game of the season. I know it's not the best matchup we were looking for, but it's still football at the end of the day. Anything you want to say before we get out of here, Nim?
No, I was just gonna kind of touch upon what you said last. Listen, I know this isn't the most desirable Super Bowl, but it's still football. It's still, after this Sunday, we're gonna have like 6 or 7 months of non-football, and then we're gonna get excited. Golf, hockey, and then basketball if you're into that, baseball if you're into that.
Baseball.
But just enjoy it,
WWE.
Oh yeah, Raw now is on Netflix.
Pro darts and billiards.
Yeah, hey, pro darts is actually very entertaining. Bowling is actually fun too.
Yeah.
So, and this year, last year we were fortunate enough to have this Olympics during the off season, but this year we're not so fortunate. So just make sure you enjoy the game, enjoy the last football game, and whoever wins, it's gonna be a bad, no, I shouldn't say bad a loud fan base on either side. So, just enjoy it. Spend time with your family, and just chill at home and enjoy the last football game of the year.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to be a long and dry off season, so let's enjoy this one. But for now, that is everything from us. We will see you next week. Have a good night.